So you're about 4 dogs down, and you viewed the line. This is the time to go through this mental checklist. What were the instructions the judges gave you? Where can you move to? Do I know what the wind direction is? Am I clear what the judges' corridors are? Where can I not afford to be? Where am I going to lose sight of my dog? Where is the running water where my dog may not be able to hear me? I have to remind myself, what direction does my dog turn? And do I know where the end of that blind is? Have I marked it? These are absolutely critical things that you have to review. And I suggest you review it more than once. Do you remember that armband with the cheat sheet that the handler had? The little note card of a reminder? Might not be a bad idea in preparation for something like this. Do you remember our last video? I'm going to take you back to Roseburg, Oregon. Remember, that was the 4th series of the water blind. And I'm going to interview Robbie Bickley, who had just come off the line from running Mickey. Robbie is certainly somebody you want to pay attention to. The Robbie and Mickey team have been High Point amateur dogs in the country 3 of the last 4 years. Now that's a feat that's not easily accomplished. Okay, Robbie talks about his strategy and his checklist prior to running, the areas that he identified as trouble zones and how he was going to manage them. So he's going to tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to review it after that video. I want to talk to you about this zone here. What was your plan and how did it work out for you?
My plan was to try to put him on the corner or hit, barely nick the corner of the island. He came in, he got just on the corner.
How was your approach coming in there?
The approach coming in, I let him come off of the ground. I let him grab a little bit more ground here.
Okay.
With the straight up back. Which kicked him off more towards that point.
Okay.
Instead of coming off early.
Right.
He showed me he was pretty watery.
So your approach to the island was
actually a little bit to the left.
Okay.
So I tried to play it left. Once he got on, he turns to the right.
Okay.
So he gets up, his feet dry on the island.
All right. I'm going to give you another look at that midsection photograph so you can kind of review what Robbie was saying about how he managed those critical zones. And take a look. I'm going to identify those after our interview, and we're going to talk about that in more detail.
On the island.
All right.
I blow the whistle.
You put a whistle right in here?
Immediately right here. I gave him a straight up left.
Okay, and where did that take him?
So then he comes off and he comes to the left part of the island. So I put another whistle on him right here in the water.
In the water still. Oh.
I gave him a verbal straight up right. He rolls right off of the point.
And carried that all the way into the channel.
And carried that all the way to the end of the channel.
And then I saw the rest. It looked real solid. So, hey, that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you the rest of the National.
I appreciate it.
All right, there's Robbie Bickley and Mickey.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. What a great team they are. You notice that Robbie was well aware of what direction Mickey turned. Now, he put himself in a situation to allow for which direction he turned. And Robbie can be a little bit of a gambler, but Mickey is very well trained and very cooperative, and it really paid off here. So I've identified 4 kind of critical zones, and I've numbered them 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to see a couple of views, and we're going to talk why they're critical, and like I said, how are we going to manage that? So here's another perspective showing those 4 critical zones. Site 1 is that corner of the water that you've got to get into. Now you're going to see the blow up, and you're going to see that zone 2. There's kind of an out of sight zone. A dog curls around the corner to the left. You could be in real trouble. So you got to manage their momentum coming off that spot. And what I mean about managing their momentum is that you got to have them headed in a direction to where you're going to see them. So you need to have them headed out into the water there. Zone 3 is that running water area around the island. That turned out to be very tricky to manage. If you mistimed whistles there and didn't get them stopped, you could get yourself in a real pickle. And then the fourth spot is that last point. You've got to get on the point. You've also got to get off the point. You can't wrap around. So there's also an out-of-sight area to the left as well as running water. If they start to curl left, you may not get them stopped. And that could be game over. And I'm going to remind you that the reason I put this in line mechanics, because this is all that preparation that you're going to go through before you ever set foot on the mat. So I consider that line mechanics, even though we're talking about what happens after they leave the line.